Okay, so again, I'm going to say good evening since we are recording on the computer. Let me enlarge the screen. And we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about adjectives. I think we have to move on to the next page. Let me see if this goes to the next page. So today we're going to talk about adjectives and adverbs, okay? Adjectives and adverbs. Adjectives, guys, in Arabic, you know, it means صفات, صفة, and it's used to describe nouns, basically. This is why we use adjectives to describe nouns, right? And then we have adverbs from the name, guys. This is the basic use, or let me say goal, behind using an adverb from the word adverb. So it's used to describe, like an adjective for the verb, okay? This is not the only goal, guys, but this is the main goal, to use these words, which are called adverbs, to describe adjectives, okay? So we say, he drank
Dora,
quickly.
could you please zoom in again or more?
Why is it blurred?
No, but it's it's too small for me.
Oh, too small? Well, let me see if I can do anything about it. Is this too small or is it good now?
Now is good. Now is good. Now is good.
All right. You're too young for glasses. All right.
هتيارنا دكتورة.
No, you're still very young, and you know, yeah. So I don't think you need you know, glasses, and I think your eyesight is good, but probably, you know, with the transfer, I don't know, transferring like data in this kind of way, I don't know, some kind of thing changes, because you know what I see on my screen, I noticed even in the recording, it's different. The recording is a little bit blurry, not like what I see on my, you know, desktop when I open the file. Hopefully things will be fine, okay, today, because my son Ahmed, he's not playing games today. He went to his uncle's house. So yesterday I discovered I had someone playing games and using the internet, you know. I think that was the problem. Well, anyway, back to problems with adjectives and adverbs, all right? I was telling you about, you know, adjectives. They're used to describe nouns. Why I did not give you an example is because we are familiar with adjectives, but let's go ahead and give one example. Does any one of you guys want to give me a sentence that has an adjective, you know, just to see how it describes the noun? The noun or the pronoun? Who can give me an example on a sentence that has an adjective? All right, any example that you want.
He is a great person.
He is a great person. So great is an adjective. It describes person. Good job. So this is an adjective, and that's the way that we use, you know, adjectives in order to describe, you know, nouns. That's a way. And of course we can use other ways to describe nouns, but this is one of the most common ways. And we said that adverbs, from the name, adverb, from the noun itself, and its structure, let me say, or the spelling of it, so there, it's like an addition or an adverb to the verb, okay? So we describe the verb. It is used to describe the verb, and I was about to give you an example. I forgot the example that I gave earlier, but I can say something like, you know, he drove slowly. He drove slowly. How did he drive? We ask, how did he drive? Slowly. So I'm describing here what, guys? The way he drove the car, right? And the way he drove the car is slowly. Most adverbs end in ly, okay? Not all of them, but most of them. Remember, in English, guys, there's something always called regular or the norm or the majority. And we say how things look like in that kind of way. So most adverbs, guys, end in ly. Not all adverbs end in ly, okay? But there are some very popular ones, ones that are used the most, you know, which end in ly, okay? Of course, this is the main use of an adverb, but I also want to tell you guys something about adverbs. Some adverbs are used to describe adjectives. Can you imagine that adjectives could be described? That means they could be modified, because adjectives sometimes could be also modified. We'll take examples to show you how that happens, okay? All right. And then like adverbs, can you imagine, could be used to describe other adverbs. So can you imagine that? So we will look at some examples. Of course, guys, in these cases are not, I'm not going to say rare, but they're not popular. Okay. So we usually, when we begin to talk about a topic, we talk about the general, the most common, and then we start, you know, narrowing it down and talking about the least used and the least popular things about such, a topic, which is, what adjectives and adverbs. Okay. So this is how it is done, most of the times whenever we talk about something like that. Anyway, let's take a look at what the text says here, what the book says. Many different problems with adjectives. So there will be problems, okay? With adjectives and adverbs are possible in the written expression section of the TOEFL. Okay, we're going to see how, let me say the mistakes are made, intentional mistakes are made. Why? So that you can correct them, okay? To identify these problems, you must first be able to recognize adjectives and adverbs. Guys, you must know as many adjectives as you can, all right? And you have to know some adverbs, all right? Yeah, in order to be able to, identify where the problem is. If you don't know any adjectives, how will you know this is an adjective, or this is how it should be placed or put, or, the spelling of it and so on, okay? I know you know enough, but it's always good to know everything that is mentioned in the book, okay? Because I'm going to examine you with the terms, with the adjectives and adverbs that are here, right? Often adverbs are formed by adding ly. كيف بنكون الادverbs, guys? By adding ly to what? To the adjective. يعني these are adjectives. Look at them. Recent, حديث, public, شيء معناته عام, guys. Evident, شيء يعني بيحكي عن حاله زي, like proof, like, okay? This is
دليل.
like واضح. احنا خلينا نقول كلمة واضح بجوز أكتر أو بدل أو واضح, all right? And adverbs, look at them. The same words, but they have an ly to them, okay? To make them an adverb, okay? اللي هي صفة للفعل غالبا أو صفة للصفة أو صفة للadverb نفسه اللي هو الظرف. احنا بالعربي ترى بنحكي عن الadverb ظرف, all right? Yeah. So, and these ly adverbs are very easy to recognize. يعني سهل مش صعب, guys. هو فعلا this lesson is not hard, okay? It gets harder with the second and then the third, probably a little bit harder, okay? The following examples show adverbs that are formed by adding ly to adjectives. بالضبط هذول adjectives من اللي ماشيين على النسق, على القاعدة اللي حكيناها. هيهم زي ما انتم شايفين, recent, public, evident, and they are when we add to them ly, this is how they look. Recently, publicly, evidently. Recently means بشكل حديثا. Publicly بشكل ايش يعني? What does publicly means, guys? This was بشكل عام, okay? Evidently بشكل واضح أو ملحوظ, all right? Something like that. So anyway, we will, check them out also in sentences. So this is even an introduction. This is not even the skill yet, okay? An introduction to what is going to, really be discussed, all right? However, there are many adverbs in English that do not end in ly. There are, look guys, see, not all of them. These adverbs can be recognized from their meanings. How can you know that this is an adverb? Because when you read the sentence, guys, it doesn't describe an adjective. So that's how you know this is not an adjective, all right? Then you read, and you find out that it's describing a verb or describing another adverb or describing an adjective, all right? So they must be adverbs and not, adjectives, okay? They don't describe nouns, then what are they, okay? They describe, like I told you, they don't have ly, they describe verbs, they describe adjectives, they describe adverbs, so we call them adverbs, even though they don't end with ly, okay? Look, they can describe when something happens. في الadverb ايش guys? They describe وصفه متى الشيء بيصير. مثلا مرات بقول انه I came to university, I got to the university, وصلت الجامعة, I got there, I reached the university. Often, so this is the when did I get there? See, I'm talking about the verb. When did I get there? Often, soon, later, it depends. So I might say something like, I go to the university at 7 o'clock. Often I go to the university at 7 o'clock, something like that. So I'm describing how often I go to the university and what time, I am there also. Okay. So I go there every day at 7 o'clock. That's how often. Soon, قريبا, guys, this is usually, guys, for the future, right? Soon, later, بعدين, احنا بنحكي لاحقا أو بعدين, that's what later means. So for the future, really. Future, often is for frequency. It shows like, that you're going to probably be using the present simple, all right? How something happens. كمان, guys, الadverbs شو بتعمل, guys? بتحكي عن كيف الشيء بصير, all right? يعني I drove يعني أنا سقت fast I worked, how did I work? hard. See how something happens. I wrote a
Done.
letter.
Done well. Done well.
Yeah, how things are done or how they happen. Good. He drove very well. All right. Something like that. Okay. He spoke very well. Sometimes we say. All right. Or where something happens sometimes. كمان ترى الجواب على where something happens could be an adverb. Like here. So I work here. So where do I work? See, I'm asking about the workplace, the verb itself now. See? So here, there, in that building, there meaning nowhere. So this is an answer that when you don't want to give an answer, you say nowhere. Where do you work? Nowhere. Nowhere means I don't want to tell you, right? But it still answers the verb, that I'm not going to tell you about this verb that I'm doing, which is what? Where I work, see? So there are 3 skills involving adjectives, guys, that are going to be discussed here in this book, right? That will help you on the written expression section of the TOEFL. One of them is that we're going to be talking about, these are the things that we're going to talk about today. Knowing when to use adjectives and adverbs, like here, is it better to put an adjective or an adverb? Okay, it's good. This is an easy lesson, you will see. Using adjectives rather than adverbs after linking verbs. Okay, so today we're going to learn what are linking verbs. Okay, there are some verbs in English that are linking verbs. They don't really express meaning. Their goal, although they are verbs, are to link things with each other, items in the sentence with each other. Let's see if you have ever paid attention to them today. And then, guys, we're going to talk about positioning adjectives and adverbs correctly. Like, where should we put the adjective? Before this word, before that word, before the noun, after the noun, things like that, okay? These are the things that we're going to be talking about today. Skill 46. This is the first skill. Use basic adjectives and adverbs correct. Look at these sentences, guys, while you listen to me read here. Sometimes in the written expression section of the TOEFL test, adjectives are used in place of adverbs. So sometimes, I will give you here an adverb instead of an adjective, and you tell me that's wrong. You shouldn't be using this in the, this adverb over here. This is what you have to do, okay? And fix it if you are asked to fix it, okay? Okay, if you're not asked to fix it, just to say whether it's correct or incorrect, that's what you should do. Or, of course, adverbs are used in place of adjectives. So, for example, here's an adverb. Where is it? No adverb. Adverbs are here. Later on, we will show you something with an adverb, like she drove slowly. And I have she drove slow. So you tell me wrong. You can't do that because slow is an adjective. And here we need an adverb. Got the idea? This is what we mean by sometimes in a sentence, you will have an adverb instead of an adjective, and it should be an adjective. Or you will have an adjective where there should be an adverb. Okay? So be ready for this. Okay? Yeah. Look at this example. طبعا هاي أمثلة صحيحة وتمام أمورنا. Because remember I said we learn either by looking at models. التعليم بيكون من خلال النظر إلى models، يعني جمل بشكلها الصحيح, to imitate, to copy, to make something like them, to produce and say sentences just like them. All right? Or through mistakes. We show you mistakes. We expose why they are mistakes. يعني نحكي لكم ليش في أخطاء هون عشان إحنا ما نعمل هاي الأخطاء. Right? So it's either this or that. I think all of you guys are, professors, and you've taught people, if you don't teach at universities, but you know that these are the 2 techniques that we use in order to teach really. Okay? We show mistakes, we say this is a mistake, and we say why, and then we show what is the correct way to fix a mistake if we're going to use mistakes as a method of teaching, okay, or a method to teach. She is a beautiful woman. We say these sentences all the time, right? She is a woman as just a noun, but we want adjectives because our lesson is about using adjectives. All right, she is do I want to put an adjective? A beautiful woman. Can I say she is beautiful? Yes, I can. All right, if the woman is in front of me and I see her, that I'm talking about a woman, or this person is talking about a woman, no need to mention woman, right? We could just say she is beautiful. All right, so this is correct and that is correct. Both sentences are fine, okay? Yes. But this, clarifies more if we are not in the context, or if we don't know what this person is really talking about here, or who he is talking about, right? Yeah.
In
So
the second sentence, beautiful is adjective.
yes, of course it is.
Yeah.
It's an adjective. Look, you see these arrows? Look at these arrows. Let me enlarge again. Let me enlarge again and go down again. Here, beautiful describes woman. Okay? But here, beautiful describes the subject, which is the pronoun she. Okay? Because we have nothing else here but that. Okay? And the woman here is really, she at the same time, though, right? Got
Yes.
it? Yeah. Okay. So let's move to the next page, This is the next page. So, okay, there's some explanation about, the sentences that we have read. So in the first example, she is a beautiful woman. The adjective beautiful describes the noun woman. In the second example, the adjective beautiful describes the pronoun she, which, the sentence began with, that she at the beginning of the sentence, she is beautiful. So adverbs do three different things. What do adverbs now do? Now we want to move on to what we have talked about, adjectives. Now we want to move on to adverbs, all right? What do they do? Three things. I have already told you about them, but let's see them in examples, all right? They describe verbs. This is the most important and the most common use, okay? Look, see, and they describe adjectives, or they describe other adverbs. Look at this example. This is what? A sentence that describes, that shows an adverb describing a verb. Look, she sings beautifully. So how does she sing? Beautifully. So usually we have to pose a question about the verb to get this answer, which is the adverb, really. Okay? She sings how? Beautifully. So beautifully is used to describe sings and not her singing, the verb itself. All right? And not her. We're not saying she is beautiful. See? She sings how? Beautifully. So we're describing the verb. Adverbs, again, are used, they means adverbs, are used to describe verbs. Covered, guys? Is this fine? And we say something like, he drove, fast. But the fast here is an adverb that does not end in ly, because there are some adverbs that end in ly and others that don't. Okay? So be ready for that. Don't be surprised, because you ask yourself, he drove fast. What's fast? Yalla. What is it? Nothing but an adverb. It describes in the sentence what? The driving of the person, right? So there's no way. And that's why, guys, you must also sometimes understand the meanings of words. Yani, ay na'am. Don't stick to, ly, always adverb. No, that's good. Okay. And we teach our children, rules sometimes at the beginning and in that kind of way. Remember, but there are always exceptions to everything in language, guys. Not only in English, in Arabic. Listen, in Arabic, the exceptions are a lot more. English is easier in terms of the grammar, even, and the things that you have to memorize and understand, Yeah. At Yarmouk, students fail more in Arabic than they fail in English. If you don't know that. Yeah. All right. And they can speak Arabic. Can you imagine? All right. So let's move on to the next sentence. She is, a beautifully dressed woman. She is, what? Not just a woman. If I said she is a woman, that's just a sentence, in which I am saying this person here is a woman. But now I want to describe her. What? She is, sometimes we say she's dressed well, all right? She's dressed up, we say, okay? She is dressed up, this woman, okay? Or a dressed up woman. The word up, we use it, okay? We don't say even dressed. She is all dressed up, for Christmas, for the holidays, things like that, And it means, it does mean that she's beautifully dressed, okay? But this is, to add, okay? So when we say she is a dressed up woman, we're describing her. So here, this is an adjective. We're describing woman here when we say she's a dressed up woman or just a dressed woman. Okay? That, she's elegantly dressed. That's what it means. But we want to modify more the way she's dressed, by saying, she is a beautifully dressed woman. So when we say something like this, guys, beautifully dressed, مش بس يعني لابسة, something trendy, but it's beautiful also. So she is a beautifully dressed woman. These two are what? This one, we're describing the noun, so it's an adjective. Beautifully with the ly, look at it, it's used to describe the adjective, right? And not the verb, all right? Here we have shown you, how the verb works, okay, when it's described, how to describe a verb. But again, we said now we can also use adverbs to describe adjectives, as you can see here, beautifully dressed, woman. All right. Yeah. So now we covered this. So I hope this sinks in. Okay. Just get used to it. Okay. He is, what do we say? Handsomely dressed. The man. He is handsomely dressed, probably. All right. Elegantly dressed. About a man. We say that, guys, so we can also do that for men, not just for women. All right. Yeah. So dressed would be an adjective. Elegantly would be an adverb. Okay. In that case. So let's move on to, adverbs describing other adverbs. It's going to get more complicated. Take a deep breath for this one. Okay. She is a truly beautifully dressed woman. All right. So not only do we want to describe, guys, what? The adverb. All right. See, she is a truly beautifully dressed woman. We can do that. Okay. It is done, guys. But I want to tell you guys something. It's not very common. All right. Sometimes, there are some people who are good at talk, and, organizing their sentences in certain ways. They would use sentences like this. Okay. But like I told you guys, it's not that common. Okay. Like in everyday language, we just, use the easy way, he's elegantly dressed. We can go for this one. All right. And even sometimes we don't say this, even the man or the woman, because he's in front of me. I say he, he's elegantly dressed. She's beautifully dressed. This is very common. All right. To say something like this, which is even without this. Can you imagine? This is the most common way to use the language, but it's in TOEFL, so you must understand it and get used to it, because the thing is that adverbs are used to describe what? Verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. How does that happen? It happens in this kind of way. Okay. Yeah. So she is truly, we're describing, the, beautifully dressed woman. So dressed is an adjective for woman. Beautifully is an adverb for the adjective dressed. And now we're defining beautifully. يعني guys بدنا كمان نوصف beautifully even more. true عن جد جميل. بشكل جميل. يعني احنا بنحكيها هاي العبارات مرات كتير بشكل كبير الجمال. We say it. So we're really defining. So هي هاي بتيجي زي كيف بالعامية لما نحكي عن جد بجد. Like that. Okay. So these are used, but يعني come on. Don't be that expressive, but since it's there, you have to understand it. In the first example, guys, this one here, the adverb beautifully, describes the verb sings. Here's sings. So this describes it, as we said. In the second example, the adverb beautifully, this one, it describes the adjective dressed, which describes the noun woman. All right. Yeah. Where am I? In the third example, this one, the adverb truly describes what? The adverb beautifully, and the adverb beautifully describes the adjective dressed, and the adjective dressed describes the noun woman. Okay. Okay, and these are the examples, and really this is our lesson. Okay, but let's take a look at some mistakes. We want to take a look at some mistakes. The following are examples of incorrect sentences as they might appear on the TOEFL test. So we might find sentences like this, okay? And we have to be ready for them, and we have to fix them if we find them. All right. They were seated. They were seated. This is a passive, right? Sentence. They were seated.
Past passive.
By someone, maybe by the professor, by those people who are in charge of the exam. Sometimes you take exams, like, for example, the TOEFL at the Mid East or something like that, right? So students or people were seated where? By other, people in charge, where? At a largely table. At a table, but a largely table. How are we going to describe the table?
A large
table. Come on. So this is obviously wrong, right? We want to describe the table. We say large table, small table, huge table, something like that, right? All right. Okay, so largely is wrong. It should be large. Remove the ly. That's why we have an asterisk here. So this is what, and it should be not an adverb, an adjective. At a large table.
Large.
Yeah. So the child talked, the child talked how? Quick or quickly?
Quickly.
Yeah, And guess what, guys? I want to tell you something. This is among the mistakes that people make. Like in language, you would, I mean, in spoken English, people, around street language, they would say quick, by the way. It's common to have people say quick. Have you heard it before? I don't know if you have.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but there's a difference between standard English and, as they say, street language or colloquial language. So it's colloquial. When someone says he speaks quick, that's colloquial. Okay, colloquial means like spoken English, which is not correct, really. Okay, in terms of standard English. So we should be more careful, pay attention, more to this. Okay, the child talked. How did he talk? Quickly. So it should not be an adjective. It should be an adverb here because we're describing the verb. Okay? Okay. She talked quickly to whom? To her mother. مع والدتها, her mother understands her no matter how quick she speaks, or talks. We read. نحن قرأنا. Huh? We read an extreme long story. So long story, long is an adjective for story. But now I want to describe long. How do
Extremely long.
Yes.
Extremely.
Okay. So I describe adjectives by using adverbs, right? And still, this is not the way that it looks to, the adverb, right? Extremely long story. We read an extremely long story, a very long story. That's what it means, okay? So just add the ly and we're fixed. And this should not be an adjective. It should be an adverb, because what describes adjectives? We want to describe the word long, which is an adjective. An adverb describes adjectives. Remember, the role of adjectives is to only describe a noun. The adverb, unfortunately, has 3 roles. There are 3, but the thing is that we don't use them, like every day. Adjectives are more popular. That's the thing, all right? They have 1 job, but they're more popular. Adverbs have 3 jobs, but they are not as popular as adjectives. And if we're going to talk about what's popular about adverbs, it's when they are used to describe verbs, okay? Like I said, when we use them to describe adjectives and describe other adverbs, those are, let me say, I'm not going to say rare cases, but, we are people who love shortcuts when we speak, in general, people, they like making shortcuts, and we prefer not to use this elaborate kind of language, all right, when we speak, where they have an adverb and another adverb and then an adjective and then a noun. Oh, wow. Like the sentence that we discussed earlier over here, this one. Okay? Not that it's not used, it's used. Then why is it there? But like I said, generally, most people do not prefer to use this kind of, extensive sentence, all right? But get to know it, guys. Why not, experiment with it these days, huh? If you have anybody, if you talk to people these days, try to produce, some sentences, if you have friends who you speak to in English, and next time, let me hear a nice sentence from you guys. Tell me something nice, we have like just a few weeks left, right? So let me hear nice sentences from you guys. Huh? Spoil me before I'm gone. All right. So adjectives, basic use of adjectives and adverbs. Like, how are they used? Adjectives describe nouns or pronouns. كلنا بنعرف الصفات تستخدم لوصف والأسماء والضمائر وشفنا أمثلة, guys, right? Adverbs اللي هي الظروف, guys, I don't know بالعربي, that's what they call them, all right? اللي خلينا نوصف أكثر بالموضوع أو أحدد لكم أكثر شو معناهم, اللي هم صفة الأفعال, الكلمة اللي بنستخدمها لوصف الفعل, right? So adverbs من اسمهم adverb, huh? Adjective for the verb, yeah? Describe, but remember, not only verbs, but this is the most popular. هاي أكثر شيء تستخدم لوصف الأفعال ولوصف الصفات ولوصف كمان ظروف أخرى. أو adverbs أخرى, if you want to call them. If you have understood what an adverb is, يعني, that is really amazing, okay? Guys, studying does not only involve me explaining things to you. You have to also sit with you and yourself and study the material, okay? You can never totally understand something if you only depend on, your guide. I'm a guide, right? You know that. Okay, so professors, teachers, people who help you out, we really guide you, that, and you're a guide for other people, right? But if the person who's studying and working on something does not also have me time, as they say, huh? And, have this struggle with the book, this kind of relationship with the book and the material, you're not going to learn that well. Okay, you also need that kind of time. All right, my advice to you. All right, okay, let's go to the exercises now. So we have exercise 46. Dr. Khulud, you want to start? But let's take a look at what the instructions. All right, the instructions say each of the following sentences has at least one adjective or adverb. So all of these sentences either have one adjective or an adverb. Circle the adjectives. That's what we want to do. And adverb. So wherever there's an adjective, circle it so that we can take a look at it. Is it correctly used? Is it not? The adjective and adverb, and label them like say this is an adverb, this is an adjective, something like that. Is it okay how it's, let me say, spelled? Is the spelling okay? Think like that. So draw arrows also. Use the arrow technique. It's good, right? Why? Because you tell yourself, what does this describe? It helps, by the way. It helps a lot. The arrows help sometimes because this is what happens inside of your mind. You say, you ask yourself, oh, this word, what does it describe? Does it describe the verb? Does it describe the noun? Something like that. Okay. That's why we draw arrows. Okay. To say, what they describe, to talk about what they describe. All right. Then indicate if the sentence is correct or incorrect. Dr. Khulud, which one have you picked?
يعطيك العافية دكتورة. Number 3.
Number 3, go for it.
Yes. He was driving an expensively sport car. He was driving is a verb. Expensively, it should be an adjective because sports car is a noun. So it should be يعني تنوصف by adjective. It should be incorrect sentence. He was driving an expensive sport car.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your answer. Correct as they say, you hit the nail on the head. Okay. Yeah. So he was driving, a young man, what? An expensive sports car. Without the ly, we need only an adjective here. This is a noun. We're describing it and all is well. So just remove the ly, right, incorrect. We corrected it right now. And things like that. Yeah.
هسه السبورت هي ناون ولا الكار هي ناون ولا شو بنعتبرهم الاثنين؟
Together, sports car اللي هي سيارة السباق. It's called a sports car. هيك بيسموها بالانجليزي سيارة السباق. دكتور غيث. It's called a sports car. تعرفهم هدول مش عارف ايش, I don't know, one, what do they call them?
Formula 1.
Yes. That one. Yeah. So they call them, they're sports cars. Okay. In America, they call those cars sports car. They have numbers on them. Okay. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid at school, maybe in the 4th grade, we have something called show and tell. Do you know that? Have you ever heard of show and tell? No? Yes? Do you know what show and tell is?
Show and tell?
Yeah. Let me tell you about show and tell. So because in America, children at school, they come from different backgrounds. And there are so many students who are originally from India, some who are from Pakistan, others who are from Jordan, like me, myself, and others from Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Africa, different parts of Africa, and so on, So the thing is that we have something in the classroom. I think this is a trend across, classrooms all over America, where every week a child has to bring something strange from his or her culture and talk about it. Okay. Something strange or unique that they think is, special. All right. For me, for example, I brought my mom for show and tell. Do you know why? Because my mom was wearing the hijab, all right? And so she's like the strange thing, all right, that I wanted to talk about, okay? Or the unique thing that I wanted to talk about. So I brought my mom with me, and my mom told the kids about her hijab and why she wears it and what culture she comes from and, what country she comes from and things like that, details like that. So it's really interesting. And the kids would raise their hands and they would ask questions like, are you bald? This question. What does this mean? Are you bald?
أصلع أو صلعاء.
لا شقراء.
No.
No.
Bald means صلعاء.
صلعاء.
No hair. Because some kids thought that she had it on because she had no hair or her hair was not beautiful, something like that. because kids are young, they're innocent. That's what would come to their minds. You know, I still remember that incident. One of my classmates, well, I want to ask you, are you bald? Is that why you have that? And like my mom's like, no, I'll show you your hair later on, my hair later on. I'm not bald, and so on. So why did I mention this? It's because, you know, one of the kids, you know what he did? He brought his father. And his father was a person who had a sports car. Okay, so he brought his sports car, and he was a person who even, you know, raced in those, you know, in a sports car in those shows, you know, that they show on TV. So he brought his dad, and he was very proud of his dad. His dad was wearing his, you know, uniform, you know, his sports uniform, his helmet.
And
He told us about, yeah. He told that. See, I told you guys about my unique thing, but he had something unique also. All right. Which was that his dad was a person who drove a sports car. And, you know, he even showed us some videos about, you know, like when he had accidents which were almost deathly. Can you imagine? Yeah. So it was really scary and interesting. One more thing. One of the students, you know what he did? He brought his father, and he brought his father's shoe. His father's shoe was almost, the size of his shoe was almost 50. Like his foot was this big. Yeah, so I just want to tell you what show and tell is, because it's called show and tell. Show unique things and talk about them that maybe others don't know about. And the thing is about, you know, let me say, classrooms in the States, like I told you, it's because the children that are in the classroom, if you look at a classroom in America, people are from different parts of the world, really originally. They're all American, okay, fine. But you know, their ancestors are all from different countries, backgrounds, and so they all have something unique and special to bring to the table. Yeah. All right, I hope you like that. So all that is because we talked about what? Because you asked about sports car, Dr. Ghaith. All right, where is that sentence? Here it is. So it's like one unit, although it's two words, okay? So an expensive adjective, sports car is the noun, all of this together. So really sports, car is like a unit, okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that you might think that this is a description for it, right? And now you wanted to use this to describe this, right? Huh?
Yes.
No, this is like a
Extensively
unit. This is
sportly
one
car.
unit. Yeah, I understand. This is one unit, but it's made of two words, okay? That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes,
But if
there
I
will be
say,
sometimes cases and
بعدين دكتورة
Mm.
if
ممكن
I say,
كمان نحكي دكتور غايث ممكن إني واحدة من الديستنجوش إنك تحكي إنه هذه مش أدفيرب إنها لأنها في قبليها an is يعني هي يعني يا إما بتكون بتسبق النون أو الأدجكتيف
No, it's okay. No, Dr. Khulud. There's no reason. There's no reason. Not that. You can say inexpensively,
Yes.
whatever, you know,
Yes.
you know, but the thing is that the word itself is made of two. I'm sorry.
It's noun.
It's one thing really, but it's divided into
Compound
two
noun.
words. Okay, just that. Let's just
Yes,
take
compound noun.
that
Yes.
we won't mess up the
Doctora,
word.
if I said extensively sportly car.
No, not even
No,
that, because it's not used in that way. Okay.
Okay.
Expensively made sports car. Okay, expensively made, because
Okay.
you have to describe, you know, something that works to be described. All right. The thing is that that's why it's not common, Dr. Ghaith, because not everything you can transfer it and make an adverb for it. That's why you have to be exposed to the language. Okay. So let's stick to what we have. I'm sorry. Let's stick to what we have. Yani, when I ask you questions about this, I'm not going to invent adverbs. I'm just going to talk about what's used. And remember, I told you guys, although adverbs are used to describe, look, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, they're not that popular for two different reasons. Like I said, first of all, we like shortcuts. At the same time, not everything works to be made you know, into an adverb. Okay, not all, you know, words are used to be made adverbs even. Okay, just to let you know, this is why. Okay. And that's why we have to get used to some adverbs. So the ones that are there and used, you know, just get used to them. Not all of them are used in that kind of way. Okay. Why don't you guys look up some of these words? And, you know, sometimes there are websites. I want to give you some advice that put these words in, like, for example, expensively in example sentences. You will have websites, can you imagine, dedicated just to put the word expensively in like maybe 50 sentences, and you can read them and, you know, just get used to how expensively could be used in different sentences and so on, okay? If it's used. But usually this word expensively made car. We use it in that kind of way. Or built car, all right? Or something like that. Okay, another example. Who would like to do another one? Another one, Dr. Noura, your hand is up.
Yes, doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10.
Yeah.
The children finished their homework quickly so they could watch television.
Okay.
Yes, it's correct one.
The
Finished
children finish their homework, of course, quickly.
quickly.
They finish
Yes.
quickly. Their homework.
Quickly.
How? Quickly.
Because
So
need
they could.
adverb describe verb finished.
Good. Correct. 100%.
Yeah, it's a correct one.
Amazing. Yes, good job. One more sentence, Dr. Ghaith.
Number 6.
Okay.
The car was not complete ready at 3 o'clock. The car was not completely ready at 3 o'clock.
Good. Good job. So completely is an adverb describing ready. What is ready here? It's an adjective, right? The car was ready. We say to describe. The car was ready, like an adjective. But here it's in the negative, not ready, okay? So this is an adjective. So this adverb is supposed to describe this adjective, and it's correctly used, by the way. We use this, right? So
yes,
the car was
and
not
ready is describe the car.
Yeah. All right. Good job. Yes, you can say that. We're talking about the car when we talk about whether it's ready or not. True. Okay. So it's true. The car was not completely ready at 3 o'clock. Usually, see, guys, the words like adverbs, they really modify the adjective. Yani, honestly speaking, if you think about this sentence, ready means complete. So what is this completely? It's just like a way to confirm, right? Yeah. So, you know, really the word ready, what does it mean if you think about it? Ready means complete even, right? But completely ready, like maybe you can drive it, but there's a problem with the window. Okay. It happens, guys, that sometimes you take your car to the mechanic and he fixes certain things that get the car to work, and you can drive it, I mean, but still there are things here and there that need to be fixed, and you say the car then is not completely ready. Okay, so that's why we say that. So maybe, you know, it could be used, you know, you can drive it, you can take it, but then you have to return it because the things that you want, you know, to have fixed in the car, to have been fixed in the car, were not completely fixed, right? See how I said completely fixed. All right. All right. Okay. Let's do one more out of these. Do we have anybody else? Dr. Noura, do you want to do one? Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, I think. Yeah, Dr. Noura, your hand is up, but you didn't, you know, unmute your mic. You know.
Can I do another one, Victoria?
Well, okay, go ahead. Yeah, since Dr. Noura is trying, but it seems she's suffering.
Number 9.
All right.
The production manager quietly requested a complete report of the terrible incident.
Lots of mistakes here.
Yes.
Can you feel them? The production manager. What?
Yes, the production manager quietly requested.
This is fine. Quietly requested is fine, because how did he request?
That's okay.
You know? Yeah,
quietly.
You know, some managers, when they want changes, they do it quietly. They're like, not like that, right? They quietly.
Quietly, it's adverb of يعني requested.
Describes so quietly is an adverb, describes the verb here. So quietly requested a what?
A completely report. It's incorrect.
Report. So report
because
is
we need an adjective to describe a report.
Yes, report is a noun.
So
we want an adjective, not an ly. So remove the ly because complete report, an adjective, and we don't need the ly. A complete report of the
terrible incident.
Another mistake.
Yes, of the terrible incident. Incident
Yes,
is of the
terrible
unknown
incident.
terrible
Incident means,
incident.
guys, حادثة مش
حادث
حادثة.
أو accident يعني
Yes.
yes.
لا هي مش accident، هي incident.
incident يعني
معناها يعني شغلة صارت عندهم بالشركة
Yes.
بالمصنع you know حادثة احنا بنقول عنها يعني اوكي مش حادث اوكي
yes.
فرق. حادثة يعني شغلة صارت عندهم you know
Yes.
يعني بدون تصريح شريك.
mistake يعني ممكن نحكيها.
Yes, yes, good job. Thank you. So a terrible ly بدنا نشيل الواي ونحط e عشان تصير adjective. Terrible incident.
Yes. Terrible
يعني
incident.
حدث ممكن واحد انضربت ايده you know انجرح. I don't know if it's a factory إذا مصنع يعني وصار في شغلة فيها خلل you know yeah
Yes.
who knows. So the production manager quietly requested يعني بالهداوة يعني بدون ضجة you know هالليلة زي ما بقولوا ها quietly requested a complete report of the terrible incident. And that's it. Do you guys want a break or do you want to continue? I want to give you the freedom to choose. Tell me.
Complete.
15-minute break, please.
Okay, let's take a 15-minute break and come back for skill
Until
47
9, Victoria.
and maybe
Until
40. Let's see. If we can do 48, we'll do it. If we can't, we'll postpone it because the next lesson does require some chit chat and talk, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's stop
So
now.
until 9, Victoria, بتصير break until 9.
Is that 15 minutes? 9?
It's
Yeah, okay,
it's
okay.
20 minutes.
Okay, until 9. Yeah, go ahead. Enjoy the evening. See you guys at 9.
Okay, thank you. You too.
You're welcome.